The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, not only gives us insights into our basic personality types, but it also gives us insights into our emotional intelligence. You know, our relationship within our personality. So be sure to watch the videos on interpersonal and intrapersonal factors as related to emotional intelligence. This is going to aid you in developing aspects within this intelligence. Now, this series of videos is going to focus on developmental challenges and some medius tasks to employ in order to improve your emotional intelligence and to be more in tune to those around you as well as to yourself. Within that intrapersonal arena, now remember, this is within yourself. Often your over-controlling of emotions is really going to tend to deny the value of these emotions. So here's some things that you might need to do. You might need to find some new coping strategies to really reduce the stress, that internal pressure within yourself. For instance, you may want to take some time to reflect on ways that you can be more expressive of your feelings, that you can really be able to share some insights. Make time to really see that big picture. What is it? Look at that reflection time. Clarify the context and the complexity of a situation. This is also going to help you to be a better problem solver. You want to be able to also be more aware of what's going around, your emotional and affective awareness. Like maybe you want to take some time to look at art, especially abstract art, or take some time to sit outdoors and view the environment. How does it make you feel? And also, what are you noticing? What kind of adjectives would you describe? Lastly, explore some methods to really be able to tune into those intuitive hunches. Now remember, as an ISTJ, you really tend to be very logical and structured. And because you want that concrete and realistic and pragmatic actions, this really means that at times you're going to forget to really dive into and understand the intuitive sides. A great way to look at intuitive ways for you would be really look at and see how you can use mind mapping, graphic organizers, and also do what I call the brain dump. The brain dump is where you take a piece of paper and just write down everything going on inside your head, whether it be a task or an inspiration or whatever is going on inside your mind. Let your mind flow freely and record it all down. Now, mind you, this is a piece of junk. I call it junk journaling. You can throw it away. You do not have to keep it unless you really want to. Within your interpersonal relationships and your interpersonal arena, remember that you're very focused and a calm task demeanor. You are really good at being stick-to-itiveness, right? That you are going to follow through with everything. You tend to be calm, straightforward, loyal, and even committed. However, because of that, you also seem at times like you might be a little too impersonal, maybe blunt. So let's see how we can enrich our relationships. So interpersonal is where we're looking on the outside of ourselves. You may want to clarify your feelings, express your feelings in an appropriate manner, of course. Be aware that your logical side, that analytical, structured side, at times it really stifles creativity, not just within yourself, but within those around you. So make sure that you ask a lot of questions, and especially those open-ended questions. Also, seek feedback. Ask others, what is it that they need? Not only what do they need, but what is it about their responses? How are you responding to others? What about the effect of what you're doing? Let's look at how we can improve your emotional intelligence as an ISTJ. Remember, you are already really good at keeping track of details. You are so logical and thorough and analytical that you're great. And you're really good at summarizing things logically. So remember to keep doing those things. Now, let's start on the other side. Because you're an ISTJ, sometimes you forget that empathy side, so start listening to others empathetically. Show some personal interest in other people. One thing that I have done, I am not an ISTJ, but one of the things that I have done to help in that aspect is that you think of somebody that you know and create a few interpersonal questions, things that are going on in their life. For instance, oh, your granddaughter's not feeling very well. How is it going? Or their son just got married. You might want to say, how's their new married life? Think about aspects of their lives that are important to them. Then record those questions, and those questions could actually involve other people. Remember, as you record these questions, make sure that they're open-ended, not yes or no. Explore that whole picture. Really look at everything that might go on around it. This is where that mind mapping gets really important, because you start with that one first little circle, and it's going to be like a web, and then you're going to branch off. So for instance, I'm going to take something very simple that you might use more in a elementary education situation. But if you were to look at animals, now we're going to separate it out and say, okay, now we have dogs, cats, and birds. Now when we go with the dogs, we're going to say, oh, we have 4 legs, fur, and tail, right? And then we go even further. We might go into the types of dogs. We might go into height. We might go into even more details. And that's how the mind mapping works. These are things within your emotional intelligence that you need to stop doing. So let's stop insisting on being perfect all the time. Stop insisting on consistency and perfection and routine, because although this is great for you, this is not great for all personality types. So remember that everybody is going to be very different. And although they may not seem as if they are being as thorough as you are because they don't have that great list, right? Because that goes along with that judging part of you, that you think, oh, if they just had a list, right? I have felt that way. But remember that they may be doing things differently, but it's still getting done. So let's be respectful of other people. Also, don't ignore the emotions of other people or downsize it. If somebody's upset about something, you don't want to look at them and say, well, that's really stupid. Don't look at that. You shouldn't be that upset over that. That's true. That may be all the way it is for you, but for somebody else, it may be extremely difficult for them. So now, be sure to watch the videos on intrapersonal and interpersonal factors of emotional intelligence. That'll help you to see and to understand a little bit more about your personality type and what you can do to increase your emotional intelligence.